All right. Hello, 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 everyone. It's so good to see your faces. Hi. Okay. I hope everyone's having a good day. I'm going to record here in just a quick second, but I'm also just making sure we're getting in the group as well, because we have people that I think sometimes have a hard time getting into the live here with us. So all right, let me just make sure, keep my eye on all of this here. Welcome back, guys, to another PE Weekly live show. I'm so excited to be here today. I want to talk today about champion clients versus regular clients. It's just this concept we've been talking about in my programs for a long time now. So my clients are pretty familiar with this, but we want to talk about that. And I also want to talk about how that couples into the qualifying factors that you set for your group coaching programs. This is critical. This is so important. And this is something we've been spending a lot of time on. And I have, with my team, been spending a lot of time really mastering and fine-tuning these pieces. Oh, no worries, Lisa, no worries. You catch that replay. Okay, so when we're talking about a champion client versus a regular client, and I want to preface this. There's no like good, bad, right, wrong client. We love everybody. What I want to kind of like the playing field today that I want to kind of level is there's going to be different types of people that are more or less qualified for a specific program within your audience. It doesn't make them good or bad, right or wrong. It just means not everyone is a fit for your program. Not everyone is going to have success in your program. Not everyone is going to win in your program. Now, when a lot of people think about, oh, I want to do a group coaching program and I want to like have it open and rolling and I want to bring lots of people in. That's what we teach. That's what we love. We want to, a lot of coaches do that to scale, right? But on the flip side of that, your clients need to get results. And so it's not just, oh, I want to scale and make money and I want to have a good program and I want to get hundreds of people in my program and make all kinds of money. Your clients also need to be having a really good experience and they need to get results. So another way of saying this is just proper placement, right? It's just looking at having a strong qualification process in place and being really honest with yourself and with the people applying or expressing interest. It's not for everyone, right? So if you're a client of mine, you probably have what we call your champion client criteria checklist, right? And this is the values and the characteristics and the sophistication and the skill set of a champion client that will win in your program. This is who she is, who she has to be, what she's already doing, right? How she's already successful, what she's already accomplished. This is what we're thinking about. So I kind of want to share that because I don't want you to even for 1 second think that there's a good client, a bad client, or that we are judging or whatever each different person. It is that this is actually a good thing for you to do because it's integrity. You want to make sure that the people coming in your program are set up to win. And that is not just by how you structure your program. It's a huge, huge part. But the other part is that no matter how well you design and deliver and structure your group coaching program, if you bring a bunch of the wrong people in it, they're not winning. They're not going to have success. And that's not serving any of the goals that we're all trying to create. We want recurring revenue at scale as much as we want our clients to have recurring results at scale. That cannot happen if these things that we're talking about don't come together and align properly, right? So this is absolutely, absolutely critical to be thinking about. So let's talk about champion client versus regular client. What are we talking about? What does this look like? This looks different for each one of you because we're all different. We all have different clients. We all have a different niche. We all have a different type of person that we really love to work with. And the best way I have my clients describe this is think about the two types of people that you've worked with. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you've been in business coaching clients for any amount of time, you have clients you can think of where it's probably 50% have been rock stars, 50% have crushed it. They've gotten great results. They've been amazing to work with. And then you probably have 50% where it's like, what happened? What happened, right? They were not progressing in your program, or they were not getting results, or they were treading water, or they were really, really, really hard to work with. Okay. No fault to their own. You placed them there, right? You placed them there. So we have to just own that. So I want you thinking about these two people. Okay. There's no good, bad, right, wrong. They are just two different people. And they're at two different places in their journey. So I want you to think about those two people. And your exercise today is going to be to come up with a list for the one that got results, the one that was amazing to work with, the one that used your coaching for good, right? Like they really came in completely responsible, completely respectful of your time and your space. They appreciated your curriculum, your program, your coaching. They did good with your work, right? Like they came in and they got their coaching and they took off, they implemented what you were teaching them, and they went off and they got results and they had progress. Results are not like overnight, but your client should be seeing progress steadily. And so I want you to think about who that person is. And then I want you to write a list of that person's values, qualities, characteristics, traits. I want you to think about, where was she at in her journey when she joined my program or started working with me? What was she already doing? What did she accomplish before she even came to me? Like, what made her a champion client that got results in your program compared to the 50% or so that did not? There's a difference there, right? There's a difference. And a lot of coaches open up these group programs, and I did this myself. We open up these group programs and we want to just help everybody. We want to help everybody. And so we're like, yes, okay, fine. I see a couple of red flags, but hey, you sound like you're pretty good. Let's do it. We'll make it happen. We'll give you some extras. We'll give you some bonuses. We'll make it whatever you need. We'll make it available. You guys are nodding because you're like, oh shit, been there, done that, right? Like, obviously. Or it might be that you're like, they seemed like an ideal client and they had the money. So I figured, like, let them in. Or we had no process for qualifying. So that might look like we're promoting a sales page everywhere and everybody can just sign up and pay right from the page. I don't do that anymore. It's not allowed. We have a qualification process, period, right? For anybody who wants to join any of our programs, any which way, there's an application and a qualification process because we want to do proper placement. So I want you to shift your thinking and your mindset and your intention to be quality over quantity. I'm going to tell you right now, working with 5 or 10 really high level, like multiple five-figure clients that are actually like using your coaching. They're responsible, they're independent, they're resourceful, they're already successful, they're happy, they're accomplished, they're positive, they're taking the work that you're teaching them, they're getting out there and doing a great job with it, and they're getting results, is far better and far more fulfilling and far moving you further towards your goals much faster. And it's a way better experience for your clients than it is to sign 20 people into a group program, paying you low ticket because that's what you thought you had to do to get those mass people in there. And then nobody's showing up on your calls. Nobody's taking the actions. No one's doing the work. No one's responding to your 50 messages a day through Voxer and Facebook and email and Messenger and all these different places. And you're overgiven and you're creating out the wazoo for everybody because you think, if I create more and give more and do more, maybe they'll show up and they'll appreciate what I have to offer and they'll value my services. Nada, nothing works. And you're like, I hate my company. I hate my business. I hate my life. I hate my program. I'm done. This sucks and I need to create a new program. Not the answer. Not the answer at all. It's much, much different. So we want you thinking of this idea of a champion client, meaning that looks however it looks for you. Whatever your champion client is whatever your champion client is. It's a matter of you getting that clarity. These types of people are not going to have success in my program. I'm not going to do a disservice and sign them. I'm not going to qualify them in because I know they're not set up to have success. They're not going to enjoy the experience. They're not going to be at a place mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, strategically to take what I'm teaching, execute it successfully, and get a result. So when I am doing my qualification process, I'm really looking at all of that. And I'm also looking at their sophistication. This is a non-negotiable. If you have to explain to somebody why what you do is so important for them, they are probably not someone that should be in your program. If they don't already understand the value in what you're talking about and how that's going to contribute to their life, to their family, to their clients, to their community, their network, overall, everything. If they don't already do that, you have to understand they have a very small level of sophistication around what you do. How hard do you think you're going to have to work to not only get them in your program, but to get them to actually show up, implement, do the work, and get a result? You're going to work 50 times harder than someone who's already investing, who already is in the market looking for that, who's already looking and saying, I need this, I want this. This is the answer to my problem. This is the solution I'm seeking right now. Boom, you've got it. And they already know that. And they've already made some investments. That's a question we ask. What has been your best investment so far and why? That is something that we're asking. And if they say, well, I bought a book, we might need to talk about that a little bit more, because if you bought a book, are you going to invest $10,000, $12,000 for a year to spend with me to grow your business to $500,000? Probably not. Even though you think it's sexy and it sounds good, you're not invested yet. And that's not good, bad, right, wrong. You're not there yet. Right? So this is where you, as the leader, say, hey, listen, you're going to be amazing in my program really soon. I'm going to give you a couple things I want you to do, because I've reviewed your application. We've looked this over very, very carefully. Give them something to go do. Give them some specific things to get to a benchmark, get to this point. When you can do this, then I want you to come back so we can revisit this. That's what a good coach and leader and influencer does. But a lot of coaches are like, I don't want to lose that money because it's all about me. I want the money. I want the money in my bank. I need the money. I'm trying to hit X people in my program. Me, right? Unfortunately, this is how a lot of coaches are operating today. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to scale that $500,000 way faster with less and better clients. It just is what it is, because those clients will renew for years. Those clients will refer all of their best buds to you who are just like them. Right? They will refer. They're going to be getting recurring results, which means you get testimonials, which you need in today's space to be constantly sharing out into the ether, right? So that people can see the proof. All the things you need to get to a $500K a year recurring monthly revenue, is going to be within the experience and results that your clients have. Not you growing a massive list of people and funneling everyone you can. That doesn't mean success for you, right? That's how you get chargebacks. People want to cancel. People don't want to make their payments. People want out of your program, even though they signed a contract and they signed up and they made a payment, whatever, right? People want to come in and they want to get all your stuff as quick as they can, then they're out. People want to come in and they don't want to do the work, and then they want to bitch, whine, and complain. They're not getting results, but they're not showing up and using your program. They're not getting results. They're not implementing, right? I tell my clients all the time, don't ever get on my coaching calls and complain that you're not getting results if you're not doing the things we talk about. If you're not doing the things and you're not using the coaching and you're not getting that support, you can't bitch and complain, right? And I say that to myself. Sometimes I find myself bitching, and my husband is like, you can't do that. You're not doing the thing. And I'm like, you're right. That sucks. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but you're right, right? So again, you want people in your program that are a blessing to work with, because here's what I will tell you. We all want to have a big impact, and we always want to help the people that we think are struggling the most, that need us the most, but they are not yet in a place mentally, emotionally, physically, practically, spiritually, to receive your value and to do what is required. Because to do the work, to talk about what you want is one thing. To do what it actually takes, it takes courage, resilience. It takes consistency. It takes a lot of inner work on things that don't feel the best, right? It takes investment. It takes patience and time. All things that someone very, very new on any journey has not been equipped with yet, right? So the way that you're going to help people that are less fortunate or maybe not where you need them to be just yet is you're going to run up an army, and an army can be 5 people, 10 people, 100 people, but you're going to run up an army of your champion clients. They're going to make you rich. You're going to make them rich. They're going to make their clients rich. Number one, we just made a ripple effect of an impact. And now, because you are making money, you can invest in team, you can invest in systems, and now you can take your free personal time and you could go throw free rafters out to everyone who needs you. You could go do charities. You could create freebies. You could set up a low ticket funnel. You can't do that shit broke. You can't do that broke. You can't give what you don't have. You can't give from an empty cup. And so if you can't feed your family, how can you go feed 10 other families this year? If you can't pay your own bills, how are you going to go give money to charities? Right? If you can't get your own business operated and functioning, how are you going to help the other people that are struggling 10 times worse than you? We cannot give what we don't have, right? We talk about money makes the world go round. Money is good, bad, it's whatever you do with it. And most of us want to do a lot of good stuff with it. And we need a lot of it to do it. And so what I need you guys doing is shifting and reframing that you're going to start at the top. You're going to round up your champion clients, and you guys are all going to go get rich so that very quickly we can then turn around and help the other people that that want to be there one day, but they're not quite ready, right? And so now you've got money, which means you have time. Money buys you time. It buys you freedom. It buys you support, mentorship, structure, and allows you to give back in ways that broke people can't do. And I say that with so much love because I come from broke. I come from severe poverty, foster homes, welfare, you name it. I was that person collecting food stamps as a single mom living in government housing for 5 years. I know all about having absolutely nothing, right? And here's the thing. I couldn't help anybody else. I could not contribute to my community. I could not give back. I could not help those in need because I couldn't even take care of myself and my own son, right? I could barely put food on my own table. I could barely get by, let alone try to help other people. And so I didn't feel very fulfilled. I didn't feel like I was contributing. I had no contribution to my community. I was the one collecting everything. I was the one receiving. Receiving doesn't feel good if we can't give back. So we all want that reciprocity, right? We want to give and get. And that is the way this world operates. It's not about one or the other. It's both. It's give and take, give and take, give and take, give and take, right? Or give and receive, give and receive, give and receive. You need money to do that. There's only so much you can do when you're broke. So we're not solving broke people problems. That's not where we're going to start. When you have money and leverage and scale and team and support and time, then I am highly going to recommend that you get yourself into charities, you start contributing to your community, you start helping people in need, and you create a low ticket funnel for all those other people in your audience that need your work, but they can't get their head around these big offers. You start at the top and then you go down. You know how they tell you, hey, if you're on an airplane, you're going to grab your mask first. And I used to be like, that is so bad. I would put it on my kids first, always. And then I wouldn't, because I can't help them if I can't help me. If I'm not living, breathing, and being able to be an army, how am I helping anybody else? You put the mask on yourself first. And then you get people who also have their masks on. And this is how we create global impact, right? If you want to go fast, go by yourself. You want to go far, round up an army of people that also want to do that, and they're capable of it. So what does that mean? That means you have to raise your price. That means your prices need to be higher to match a champion client. Champion clients are not looking for free. They're not looking for a discount. They're not looking for overnight success. They're not looking for a cheat sheet. They're not looking for a checklist. They are not looking for, let me grab your swipe so I can make $1 million on Instagram by tomorrow. They are not looking for, tell me how to grow my audience by 500 people in 30 days. I need to know that. These are not people doing that. Champion clients are saying, What is the experience in your high level program that's going to get me to this one result that I want? They are looking for results, transformation, and co-creative community. They want other badass champion women that they can collaborate with and co-create with and be in the room with, that is going to elevate the conversation every time they get together. Nobody wants to be the star of the show. Nobody wants to be the smartest in the room. Everybody wants someone smarter with something to bring and contribute to the conversation. Community is a huge part of your program, which is why you need to be selective with who comes in it, right? If you're bringing two people, if you're bringing your regular client and your champion client, you're bringing them on the coaching call together, it isn't going to go well, because guess what's going to happen? The regular client is going to eat up and suck up the energy out of that room and hog that whole call with their millions of questions that they have every week, same ones over and over and over, no fault to their own. They shouldn't be there, right? But they have the same thing. They're treading week after week after week. And you have your champion client who's crushing it. And she's looking to come in a room with some elevated energy and conversation, some co-creation and collaboration so that she can get to another level, think about something different she hasn't ever thought of. She doesn't want to be the smartest person in the room all the time, because then she feels like she has to shrink herself down and play small so she's not hogging everything. Nobody wants to feel like that. So guess what happens? Champion client stops showing up. They don't want to be on the calls anymore. Right? Because it's not elevating their level. So now they stop showing up. Your best clients stop showing up. Okay. So I want you to be thinking about, for you today, who is that champion client as you think about your high ticket group coaching program, where it is going to be open rolling and it is going to have a lot of people, amazing people in it. But it's creating wins for everybody, for you, the clients in the program, those who are thinking about joining the program, those who renew and stay, those who get referred to the program, right? We're thinking about everybody there, not just us. And I want you to think about, who does she need to be in her life? How does she lead in her life? How does she make decisions? How does she make decisions? How does she operate under stress, timelines, deadlines? How does she handle when things don't go right? What is she already doing? So does she already have an audience? Because here's what I'll tell you. You also want to write a list of what you don't want to be doing with your clients. So what you don't want to be doing, what you don't want to be teaching, what you don't want questions on. So an example. If you want clients, okay, if you think your champion client is someone who does not need lead generation, don't talk about lead generation. Talk about how she's already visible. She already has an amazing audience and network and community, and she's out there doing speaking, and she's big in the world. Talk about that. Think about, okay, these are the things I don't want to teach this stuff. Champion clients don't need it. They don't want it. It's not what I'm going to lead with. It's not what we're going to talk about, right? We're not going to lead with this. When I think about my champion clients, do we talk about audience growth? Yes, but in a high level way. We talk about collaboration. We talk about strategic partnerships. I'm not talking about go plug your freebies in 100 groups. Not saying we don't teach that in some of our programs. We do, but I don't lead with that. So again, if you want whatever attributes you want your champion client to have, write those down and then talk about those things in a high level way. If you have a list of things where you're like, oh, I just don't want to teach this. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want people coming on coaching calls for this type of stuff. Like it's super newbie type stuff, or it's stuff that, I'm not super skilled at. It's not like a passion of mine. I don't want to do it. Stop talking about that stuff. Speak to people who don't need your help with that. Right? So for an example, in my high level program, the Profitable Entrepreneur, which we brought back, and I'm so freaking pumped about it. In that program, we're doing one thing. Okay. We're doing one thing. We are literally launching. We're doing launch cycles to high ticket group coaching programs. Launch cycles, high ticket group coaching programs. That's all we're doing. So guess what? Everyone on the calls, they're all doing that. Questions are all pretty much the same. Everyone's getting value from everybody. Everyone's doing the things. Everybody's implementing. Everybody's getting results. Everyone's going to have transformation, blah, 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 right? We don't have someone getting on the call saying, Ann, what's my niche? And then everybody else over here is filling a group coaching program and scaling to $500,000. That does not make sense. Proper placement, right? So again, I want you to think about who is this person? And then what is the one result in this high level program that you're going to get them to, right? Without meaning that you need to create custom trainings for everybody in your program. Everyone is following one curriculum, one client, one program, one curriculum to one result. That is it. If you want to do other things, create different programs. Every program that you create is a business model. That means it requires marketing, messaging, strategy, sales, delivery, application, qualification, exit interviews. You're creating a separate business for every single type of offer you have. If you don't have one making you $500,000 right now, cut it. Let's just focus on the one, mastery at that before you add on, right? That means you're working with one client through one curriculum only to one result. And guess what? That means no customization per client. That is not even a strategy that is sustainable, right? That can't happen because you can't do it. You can't sustain it. Everyone's working through one curriculum. It's 3 to 5 steps. Here we go. And then we get on coaching calls and the questions are about the curriculum and the actions and everyone's on the same page. Everybody wants to create group coaching programs that are like a business in a box. Everybody can come in and we'll help you with all the things. And you're never going to sustain it unless you have a team of like 50. You will never sustain that long term. And you're not going to have structure and freedom in your life if you design your program. We'll do some trainings on how to design and all of that because that's critical, right? It's a huge piece to success and sustainability and scalability with a group coaching program. I know I've made all these mistakes, right? And I just spent the last year working in 8-figure companies of coaches who don't know how to run their programs. So very clearly, these are common problems and we want to solve them, right? Because everybody wants to win. So I want you thinking about a champion client. I want you to really spend time writing this out, mapping this out, getting this clarity, and make sure the offer that you're talking about and the results and the curriculum is in alignment for that type of client. So if you think about Gucci and Goodwill, right? Do you have Goodwill shoppers going to Gucci? Probably not. Do you have Gucci trying to promote and market to Goodwill customers? No way. Not because it's good, bad, right, wrong. It doesn't make sense. A Goodwill shopper is not paying $2,000 for your handbag, Gucci, no matter how good that product is, right? And I can tell you right now, Gucci shoppers don't shop at Goodwill either. It's not good, bad, right, wrong. It's two different audiences. So I want you to think about, are you a Gucci or a Goodwill in the sense of like, who shops at your store? Who are the people that already love what you do, who are already doing the thing you teach and they already know the value of it and they're in the market looking for it versus you chasing people around? Hey, you want to know about this? Hey, you want to learn this? Hey, you want to do this? And you're like chasing people. It's kind of like Gucci going on the sidewalk and running down the sidewalk and the road and the highway being like, hey, do you want to shop at Gucci? You want to come buy our handbag for $2,000? Not going to happen. Nobody's doing that. You literally need to go to the audiences that are already like in the market for what you offer and they already know they need it so that you don't have to convince and beg and negotiate and drop your prices and try to like educate people on what you do. If you have to educate people on what you do, the problem with that is it means there's not really a market for it, right? If you teach and educate something, if you teach something to people and they have no idea what you're talking about, you are literally selling to a market that does not know what you're talking about and there's no market for what you're doing. What you're doing, there should be a group of people already obsessed with it. They already want it. They're in the market looking for it. They might already be invested. They're already taking some steps towards that, right? That way, all you need to do is position yourself powerfully and the results that you help your clients get. You don't need to educate them on why eating right is good for them or why they need to know how to position themselves in the market or why they need to grow their audience every single day or why sales skills and sales communication is so critical to your success. If you have to tell people this and you have to educate them and they don't get it, their sophistication level is low for what you do. And again, not good, bad, right, wrong. It just means that their sophistication around what you do is very low. That means you have to work harder at selling them. You have to work harder at retaining them. You have to work harder once they're in your program to even help them get a result, versus the people that are already in the market for what you do, and they just jump right in, they appreciate, and they do good work with what you teach them. They go off and they get results, they have progress, right? They're independent. So what are your champion clients already doing and accomplishing and achieving before they even come to you, right? And make sure you're very clear on what you don't want to coach on or teach on, or what qualities and skill set and characteristic and values you do not want in a client, right? So again, like I said at the very beginning, I want you to think about the 50% that have got progress and results and have been a pleasure to work with. And then the other 50% that have treaded water, their progress was slow or none. They weren't really getting results. They weren't progressing through your program, right? They weren't really a pleasure to work with. They were really difficult. It was really, really hard. And you had to overcompensate because you let them in your program when you shouldn't have. And now you have to overcompensate by customizing everything for them and providing extra access to you and extra coaching and extra bonuses and trainings. And you find yourself constantly creating when you know you have a curriculum. You know you have a process that gets your champion clients results, but because you allow people, regular clients and not champion clients in your program, they can't wrap their head around your curriculum, and now you're recreating for every one of those people. You're reinventing the wheel. You're overcompensating, you're overgiving, over-delivering, over-coaching, being overly available, right? And I did a podcast or a live on this before about client codependency. Don't underestimate that. It is a real thing in the coaching space. Client codependency, where your clients are so dependent on you, they cannot think for themselves and they cannot make a decision and they can't move without you physically looking at what they've got going on, guiding them, coaching them, and directing them. They will just sit idle and wait for you. Or they'll come to you with a list of problems and they'll say, what do I do? Solve these for me. They have no ideas, no solutions. They don't bring anything to the table. They just say, I have a list of problems. I need you to solve these. And they want you to do that, right? That's not your job, just FYI. That is not your job. Your job is for them to bring a problem and a solution or two or three to the table of here's what I'm doing, here's what I was going to try, would love your thoughts. That's coaching. That's guidance. That's what we're looking at. A champion client will do that. They will show up on your coaching call and they'll say, hey, real quick, I have a question. So I'm having an issue with this, or I'm struggling with this, or this thing here isn't working. I was thinking I was going to do A, B, and C, or I was thinking I was going to go try X, Y, and Z. Here's what I was thinking. What do you think? Do you have anything to add to that? That is a champion client. They're coming with ideas on their own, because here's the thing. If you don't teach your clients to do that, what happens when they exit or leave your program? They're doing the same thing. They're stuck because you haven't taught them to think for themselves, trust themselves, make decisions without needing someone's approval, permission, or validation on it, right? There's nothing wrong with getting guidance and coaching and suggestions, but if you can't think for yourself to the point where it stops you from taking action and it stops you from moving forward in any way, shape, or form, you're slowing down your success massively. And you're giving all your ownership away to this other coach. You want to be successful. You want your clients to be successful long after they've left your program, right? Now, in order for you to operate and deliver a program like that, you've got to bring the right people in the program. So you have to qualify. You've got to set up. Now, qualification for you could look like an application. It could look like a DM conversation. Maybe you do triage calls, sales calls. That's up to you. Maybe you have a form that they need to fill out. Maybe there's a couple steps they need to take. My recommendation is that you set up a qualification process that works for you, right? So for me, it's application, right? It's application and then maybe some DM questions, and then we'll enroll you right through the DMs. We don't do sales calls anymore. I'm not doing strategy calls. I don't have to do triage calls. I'm not saying those things are bad. I have clients who do them and it works phenomenally. And I did it for 10 years before I stopped doing sales calls, and it works great. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if you don't want to be doing that, then you need to set up messaging, positioning of your offer, your result, not your offer, because no one cares about your offer, but your results. And you need to set up a qualification process that eliminates the need for people to feel like they need to get on a call with you. It eliminates the need where people are like, I have 700 other questions because you did not clearly articulate and communicate this to me. And so I'm confused, right? When you clearly communicate, effectively communicate, this is what the offer is. These are the results. We're going to take you through this 3-step process, 5-step process to get this result. This is the one thing we're going to do together and help you accomplish. And here's who it's for. And here's the next step if this is you. And clear, concise, really good, effective communication. Maybe you'll have someone who might pop in your DM with a question, but there won't be a need for like, I need to review a sales page for 5 weeks with an attorney because I need to make sure there's nothing in here I'm missing. I need to overthink this. It's not going to call in people that are like, yeah, I need to get on a sales call to ask you 3 questions. Those 3 questions should be answered somewhere already, right? Like if you're getting lots of that, it just means that people are unclear on your offer. Now, it doesn't mean that people might not want to feel your energy and just talk to you for a second. And you can do that through video, audio in the DMs. You don't necessarily need to be booking this thing in your calendar and getting on a call to do that. And here's the thing. You have to decide what works for you. I have clients where they want to get into a 5 or 10 minute enrollment call where they're just like, hey, I'm really excited to be welcoming you in the program. Did you have any other questions? Let's go ahead and get you started. There's nothing wrong with that. That's their style. What I just want you to hear, whatever is this, whatever it is that feels good for you that you decide is right. And that can look different for all of you. There are people that are like, I want to do a sales call and I believe you have to have a sales call. Fine, then have a sales call. There's nothing wrong with that. If that works for you, have a sales call. I'm telling you, you don't have to. But I'm also telling you that you can, and they work great. It's up to you. So you have to be behind the decisions you make. You can't say, I don't want to do sales calls to qualify, or I don't want to have to do these things, but then you actually don't believe people will sign up without those things, right? Again, you got to make sure that your qualification process is in alignment with you, that it works for you, it feels good, and that you believe it can work. If I did not believe people would join my year-long program at $12,000 and $10,000, depending on when they get in, if I did not believe that people, champion clients, would join that program and make a payment and sign up and sign a contract without a sales call, I wouldn't be able to sell it without a sales call. Right? I have to believe that that is actually how it can go, and that that's what feels good and right for me, and that that's how it's going to be. And my champion clients don't need a sales call. My type of clients don't even have time for that. They already check me out, and they know they want to work with me, and they don't need to have a call. They don't need to check out a sales page. They're ready to go. Their question is, what is the next step? And then once I sign up, what happens? That's it. Right? Like they don't have objections and need all this time. And if they have to have time to think about it, they do that before they reach out to me. They reach out when they're ready. They take action when they're ready. I don't need to chase them around. And so this is a mindset game as much as it is a strategy game, because you have to get in alignment with how you want this to look. And you got to believe that this is how it gets to be. Right? So I want you to start where you're at, and it's going to come down to who are those champion clients and what is the one curriculum and the one offer and the one result you're going to help them achieve, so that you can effectively go communicate that in your marketing, which is not the same as sales. In your marketing, you want to be able to effectively communicate this so people get it, so people understand, they click, they're like, yeah, easy. What's the next step? Right? You don't want them to be like, wait, I'm so confused. Can we have a call? Because I don't know what this is. That just means that you're not effectively communicating, right? And you're not going to attract champion clients into your ecosystem if you're talking about broke people problems, unless that's your client, which is okay. Just understand the difference. You need to be, your messaging needs to speak to the person that you're trying to call in to work with you that will get results. Also, as we wrap up here, little side note, guys, I want you to be thinking about what type of messaging you're putting out there. What are you putting out, and who is that really speaking to? What is the energy behind it? Here's what I will say. I don't do a lot of promotion. Do I sell every day? Yes. But if you go look at my content, okay? If you take 5 minutes today and you go look at my Facebook profile, you look at my group, and you look at my Instagram, you look at my LinkedIn, you look at my YouTube, whatever. If you go look at my platforms, we are really combining our invitation to work with us or to take a next step or sign up for a free workshop, we're really combining that in with a lot of more storytelling and value type posts. If you're someone who's just pitching all the time, even if it's something free, if you're just always asking of people, like register, sign up, join this, buy this, sign up now before my price triples, like nobody cares about that. And that's what everybody's doing. So you're not standing out, which would explain why you may not be getting very good traction on your content. You want to actually be sharing story, experiences, value, helpful content that is not triggering in a bad way, but it gets people like, ooh, okay, this is good, right? It gets people thinking a little bit. Remember, nobody wants to be the smartest in the room. So say something people aren't used to hearing that gets their attention. Share case studies, testimonials, have interviews with your clients. Like talk about something other than my program, my offer, my this, my that. Join my thing. Always asking. I'm going to tell you right now, that type of content in the algorithm and in the just internet world, it's fallen flat today. The only people that are going to be looking at that stuff is the people that are really, really bought into you already, right? Like you're really, really good fans. The people that are going to buy are the people that are going to read something you wrote and something emotional is going to get set off for them, right? So again, if you're that person that's just about you and your offer and your program and all your stuff, your agenda that you got going on, you're probably going to have a hard time selling in today's space because people want connection. People want collaboration. They want conversation, two-way conversation, not just you talking at them, but like conversation back and forth. They also want to know about you, your family, your life, your clients, your results that you're helping people get, the experiences that you've been through to get there. Storytelling, emotional connection, right? It doesn't need to be all woo-woo and crazy, but like you can't just put content out. It's like, check out my offers today. I'm selling this, I'm launching this, I'm doing a free this, I'm doing a free that, I'm doing this, I'm buy this, hey, I got a sale going. Like, if that's all we're doing, we need to stop. And we really need to look at like, we have to understand that people are not buying you. They don't care about you. And I say that with love. Our people don't care about us. They don't care about our offer. They don't care about our program. They don't care about our success. They don't care about us. When we are going to make an investment, there's one thing we care about. What am I getting out of this? What result am I getting? And is this experience going to be good on the way? And if you aren't talking about that and expressing that through sharing your story, your experiences, your clients, talk more about that, be helpful, create helpful content, it's going to fall flat every time. And you can create 500 pieces of content a day. You could be Gary Vee and it's going to fall flat. Not because it's not that you're not doing enough, it's that you're not doing it right. When you do it right and you do it really well and you do it consistently, you can do a lot less. You could do a lot less better versus a whole lot really half-assed and sloppy with no integrity, no good intention, right? No real meaning behind it. I mean, I think we can all here say that we have probably at many points put out content that was very, I did it because I had to. I'm doing it for the sake of whatever, but I don't give a shit type of thing, kind of energy. Or, hey, I just want to make my sales. I just want to meet my goals. I just want to make money. I just want like X people in my program. Very internal, very selfish. I think we can all agree that we've all created lots of content like that. What I'm trying to say here is that's just not going to work anymore in today's space. It's not. And if you don't change it, you're not going to have results because there's too many people. But here's the thing. There's a lot of opportunity, but people are smart. They are sophisticated, they're savvy, and they're more skeptical than ever before. Write that all down. And the reason is because there's so much out there. Options, choices, talent, people. There's so much that in order for you to stand out, you got to zig while everyone's zagging. You've got to say something no one else is saying. You got to show up in a way that nobody else is showing up anymore. You've got to do what nobody else is doing anymore, right? And if you don't, you won't make it in this space. And this is something that I talk a lot about with my clients. It's something I'm always doing and improving and trying to get better at. and then bringing that to my clients and telling them what's working, what's not, why, and all the things. And this is very, very important if you want to make it, right? If you want to make it in that 1%, right? If you want to get up there in that 1%, it isn't about shadowing everybody else and echoing what everybody else is saying and doing. It isn't about like, oh, this is the cool trend. Let's do it. I'm going to tell you now, I'm doing the same things today that I was doing 10 years ago, 15 years ago to grow my business. I'm doing the exact same things. They're a little bit different, tweaked a little, maybe some different, platform, couple things have like tweaked, but like I'm doing the same things. I'm not chasing the trends. I'm not over on Clubhouse. I'm not doing all the fads that come and go. Like, honestly, I'm not doing those things. And so if you're just kind of chasing, I just want you to be thinking about that, right? If you're having a hard time filling your programs, I'm going to tell you it's part of your messaging and your energy. You can copy paste people's messaging all day long and just copy everybody. It's not going to work, right? It's not going to work. I promise you. You've got to get some clarity. And you've got to get some clarity. You've got to get some groundation. You got to get alignment, and you need to be attached to something other than your own results and you making money and getting results in your program, in your company. You've got to have something. You've got to care about other people. You've got to be passionate about something else. You've got to have something to say. You've got to have something to contribute to the conversation, right? If your only contribution today to the marketplace and to your audience is, hey, I've got a free thing and you should sign up, or hey, you should buy my program, I would say that's probably a problem. There's nothing wrong with selling every day. I'm a sales coach. We sell every day, but we couple that invitation with valuable, helpful storytelling content. Not just, hey, buy my thing because I'm excited about it. I'm going to tell you, your audience is not as excited as you are about anything that you're doing, right? No one is super excited about what somebody else is doing. It's just not. You're more excited than they are. Okay. Anyone have questions? We could do a quick little round of cues before we hop off today. I think this is a really good show. Hopefully it brought some good awareness and just maybe some breakthroughs or aha moments for you. Let's see if we have any cues. Does anyone live on Zoom? I'm going to check my Facebook and see if anyone's commenting there, but does anyone have anything here on the Zoom with us?
Hey, Anne, it's Davina. Love tuning in. Yeah, I just love like what you're saying though, because it's so true. Like, honestly, all you I'm not saying all you kind of see, but a lot of this, like everyone's always selling something. And honestly, like I think what you're saying is so on point, because you do have to do something different. And I think that's the factor that people forget. Even sometimes the clients that I work with, like I noticed that when I tell them like, are you building connections? I'm like, are they really though? Because people get really lazy about it.
Yes.
And if you're not seeing, conversion, you might want to ask yourself, well, are you actually even building authentic connections? Or are you just, like you said, just selling or saying, hey, buy this, or just half-assing it? Because I resonated with what you said so much. And it just keeps reminding me of like, I'm a natural connector and I love connecting with people. So it doesn't ever feel like a waste. I mean, sometimes it can feel like a waste of time, I guess, in certain occasions. But like, I just wanted to share a quick story with you guys. Yesterday I guess I had a lead who I had been kind of talking to in the DMs, and I wasn't giving him too much of my energy or time because I already kind of felt a no with him in terms of like working with him. And then he ends up saying something super rude to me. And I was like, block. I'm like, thank God I got a weird hunch about this person, because as coaches, like if you're just simply chasing people for the money, you're going to end up, like you said, having nightmare clients, or having clients that aren't even aligned with your actual work, or people that are just going to be nightmares. So when we do it for the right reasons and we're really building the connections, it genuinely works. We just have to be honest with ourselves and be like, are we doing it?
I love that. I love Davina. She's so awesome. And one thing I do love about you, Davina, is that you are always building relationships and in the DM having these conversations. And I feel like it's so genuine from you. Like, I just get that. So I think that that's exactly spot on. It's point on, because here's the thing. if I go back 20 years, so I've been doing this for 2 decades. If I go back to the very beginning, when I was like on welfare, collecting food stamps and first started my very first, like opened up a laptop that was given to me by my sister and like got on there and started playing and testing, I'm going to tell you, in 1 year, I was able to get off welfare. I was able to provide for my son independently. I was able to get off all of the subsidized housing and get out on my own in 1 year. And the reason I was able to do that is because all I did and all I knew how to do was build relationships with people and have good conversations. And that naturally led, I wasn't even selling. People were like, what do you offer? Do you have a program? How do I work with you? Do you have something I can look at? Like, I would like to work with you. How could you help me? Do you think you could help me? And like all of this stuff. And I'm like, no way. This can't be like and here's the thing. Fast forward 20 years later, you can put so much content out there, which is good. It's good to put content. But I'm going to tell you right now, the money is in the relationships. The money is in the conversation. You genuinely having conversations with people, and then you cherry picking who you say yes and no to. And just like you did, Davina, of being like, I have a little hunch about this, so I'm not going to give it all. I'm not going to like pour my heart and soul and my energy into this. I'm going to kind of sit back a minute and boom, always follow your gut. And it was right. And that's the beauty of like, you get to pick. People think, oh my God, DMs like all day. No, it isn't all day, because you are in control. You are cherry picking who you have the conversations with and who do you give your energy to and where do you pull back. And 100% you get to decide on that, right? So those conversations look however you want them to look, and they feel and they are however you want them to be. 100%.
And yeah, I totally relate with that. And I feel like that's how I've honestly, it's not even the only way, but it's really one of the biggest ways I've ever even landed clients to begin with. It's like, if it wasn't for relationships, I really wouldn't. And even people have told me like, if I didn't trust you or like already like feel trust with you, I would not do this. If it was somebody else who just randomly was like, hey, do you want to work? Like, this is what I have going on. So it's just proof that it's true, because I think in this day and age, people want things fast. And some coaches like only rely on their automations or whatever. And it's like, if that's your vibe, cool. But I'm totally old school like you. So yeah, I love it. I love your coaching. So I have to leave now though, but
all right. Well, I love you. We'll talk. Boxers. Yeah. And yes. And another thing too, to add to this, guys, is like, if you think about it this way, like much like Davina said, like I always ask my clients too. And I always ask you guys, like, how many conversations have we had today? Right? Like, have we talked to anybody? Have we built any relationship, like genuine relationship? I don't mean like, hey, will you buy my thing? But like genuine conversation and relationship. And when we put out content that is like story and it's actually an experience and a feeling and an emotion, and it's true and it's just genuine, those are the posts that get people in our DMs. It's not the ones that's like, hey, buy my program. It's amazing. I'm awesome. Like, come check it out. Right? Those kind of fall flat and don't get a whole lot. And so I want you guys just thinking about the one thing that is going to sustain your business is you got to build a brand, and you have to have brand fans. You have to have people that love you, that believe in you, believe in your work, value your work, and they want to be part of that movement and that impact and that culture. And these are the people that are going to buy your things without you having to do a whole lot, right? And focusing on having those connections and conversations so that you can say, this is a champion client and this is not, and that's okay. And proper placement of your programs. And then being okay with like, here's the qualification process. This looks like a champion client. Here's the next step, right? If we want to partner together. And so it's about quality over quantity in everything that you do. It isn't about put out more pieces of content if that content doesn't mean anything to you. If that content is just, I did it because I had to, it's just not going to do anything, right? So we could go on and on, but every week I go live, right? So we got lots to cover. Also, I'm going to drop in the chat, I have a workshop. If you guys are not in it yet, I want you to be in it. I'm actually going to be spending 4 days with you guys. Okay. And I'm going to walk you through. That's the link to register if you haven't yet. And if you're on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, the link is below. But basically in this 4 days, I'm going to teach you guys my framework for what I do with my high level clients. How do we create the design, the launch, and the delivery of an impeccable, exceptional high-end group coaching program that creates massive recurring revenue. And I'm talking anywhere from 250 to 500,000 per year additional recurring revenue to your business. Okay. So probably you're doing one-on-one coaching or something, or consulting, or one-on-one done for you. And you want to add a group leverage to that, a leverage program. We're going to add this group program that's going to create anywhere from 250 to 500K per year for you, recurring revenue every month in a high ticket program, leading champion clients to big results in recurring revenue. Okay, because we want our recurring revenue, we want them to have recurring results as well. It's not just one or the other, right? So that's what we're going to be doing in that workshop. Obviously, it's going to be interactive. It's going to be on Zoom. We're going to have Q&A. We're going to have breakouts. We're going to have co-working. There's a workbook. We're going to make it fun. If you're a coach and you want to add a group coaching program to your one-on-one or your VIPs or your model, whatever you're doing right now, one-on-one, done for you, whatever that looks like, and you're ready to add that, or maybe you already have a group coaching program and it's not doing these things we're talking about, right? And you want to redesign it and you want to improve it, then this would be the workshop for you to come to, okay? So the link is below wherever you're watching this. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you're not in a free Facebook group community, head over to Facebook, just search Coaches Community, and we are right there. Request to join the community. We go live over there. We're over there every week giving great value, awesome conversations. We will get in the DMs with you and have a good conversation. We have exclusive freebies for you if you're in our community. I hope you guys have a great week, got lots of value. See you guys all really soon. Bye, everybody.